So what I'm gonna do is I got the one and only. Don't I?
What's up?
I got him on here, and yes, he was going off the other day. Yes, I said I'm walking away because I ain't know what the hell was going on. I just heard him talk about the lady coochie smell like dog water. listen, man. What you think about the trial, bro?
So I think this trial is pretty much one of the trial of the century. I do agree with that, just being here. And like I said a couple of weeks ago, like last week, I said the more and more this trial go, they're gonna start calling in government witnesses and people to testify to other things. And people that are here for a moment are gonna waver off. And people that's here for the true crime, the law, are going to keep reporting it,
right,
and also hold the suspects accountable and advocate for the victims, right, in their own unique way. So today, which is day 11, Fire Marshal Bill is in there to testify and to corroborate a lot of what Capricorn Clark was saying, as well as Kid Cudi and Cassie.
And Deontay is here now too.
Who?
Deontay the stylist.
Oh, nice. Yes. So we got to get going up in there. But anyways, right, later. But I'm doing this with you.
Right. So if you was a juror and today was the final day and you had to go off of what you know right now, is Diddy guilty or innocent?
Well, that's a question of law and fact. When it's a question of law, obviously if it comes in a trial court, there's some things that you have to take up on appeal.
Right.
I don't think it's right that yesterday I went in, for example, and the first thing that was mentioned was Diddy's attorneys is like they wanted to bar Capricorn from mentioning the break-in and the arson and the burglary of Kid Cudi's house and her being kidnapped in 2004, and the judge said it's admissible. So me knowing law and knowing that the statute of limitation for RICO predicate acts, it has to be within a 10-year span. And if you're testifying in front of the trier of fact that Diddy kidnapped you in 2004, the cat is out the bag, they don't know law. They don't want to deal with none of that or have anything to do with that. They don't know that Capricorn saying she was kidnapped by Diddy in 2004 is not a predicate act because of the statute of limitations bars it.
Right.
That Cassie's mother saying that Diddy embezzled her and extorted $20,000 from her in 2012, they don't know that all of that stuff, technically based on law, should not have come into this case. Dawn's testimony about what she been through and what she witnessed with Cassie in 2012, none of that should have came into the case based upon the statute of limitation under RICO itself. That happened beyond the scope of 10 years when the government filed the indictment against Diddy.
Right.
But now that the cat is out of the bag and the jury's not there to interpret law, they're there to interpret the facts. So the law allowed those facts to be presented, and based on that, Diddy has multiple predicate acts under RICO. He's also charged with prostitution, right? But there's a 5-year statute of limitation on that, and the last time that they can testify as to him doing that thus far has been in 2018. That's above the 5-year statute of limitation, so that is frivolous as well. But that's the indictment. This is me knowing law, but there's so many facts came into this case that should not have gotten into this case. This is why Harvey Weinstein is right now on appeal across the street, because of Molyneux witnesses. Those are people that come and testify about prior bad acts that has nothing to do with the victim or the charge itself. Don Richard,
Cook, brother.
Kid Cudi, Cassie's mom, they're testifying to, and Capricorn, they're testifying to prior bad acts that has nothing to do with RICO because it happened longer than 10 years ago. But so that puts Diddy in a position to come back on appeal for Molyneux witnesses, which is the same reason Harvey Weinstein came back on appeal. And so that's what I predict. I predict that he's probably gonna be found guilty on something and be spending a great deal of his time incarcerated on appeal, and he will persevere and get a retrial on appeal if he gets found guilty. And yesterday, I looked for things like when Capricorn Clark was testifying and the government started asking her about the stipulated agreement she did with Diddy, and as far as how much she got paid and stuff, they called it a sidebar. Because if the government would have been allowed to allow that into court, then Diddy would have came back and said, Capricorn Clark, we're going to completely dismiss her because she testified on the oath to some things that she signed the NDA for. That's why Bill Cosby was able to get out. So I see things in real time. I see the past, the present, the future, and it's amazing to be here to actually, you know, talk about 2004 and know that Capricorn Clark was there trying to help Cassie become like Rihanna and Sierra, and it didn't work out for her. Have Capricorn Clark throw her under the bus and say she wasn't talented. But also, you know, a lot of people did not catch it, and I spoke about it last night. Capricorn Clark got wrongfully terminated by Combs Enterprises, a Bad Boys record, in 2012, in August 2012. She mentioned that prior to that, she met Chris Lightly in an elevator, 50 Cent's manager, and Diddy basically said he don't go back and forth, he do pop outs. And Chris Lightly, I did a review. In August 2012, they said that he committed suicide in his home.
We all know that didn't happen.
But that was at the same time when Capricorn Clark was fired trying to get a new job going against Diddy.
Yep.
And I called so much.
It's so much that we can talk about with that.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy. So let's jump into it, man. What happened between you and Gene Deal? But I want to get your side of the story.
Okay, so Gene Deal to me is just like Jaguar can't get right. They just gonna be
Jaguar who?
Jaguar can't get right.
Oh.
And if she show back up to this court, I got them 3 lawsuits for her and the defendant in. I'm gonna serve her, record it, and send the paperwork to the attorney because she need to be held accountable. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. It'll be great. It'll be funny. But anyways, I'm not gonna do it. So no, with Gene Deal, I think Gene Deal is a liar, and a lot of people have questions as far as his complicity in the case or whatever. So me coming out here with these so-called big dogs.
Where are the pictures? But go ahead and finish.
Me coming out here with these so-called big dogs, I have to carve out my own niche and articulate my personal brand. And so I'm not asking just for what the people want to know and want to hear. I'm asking for myself too.
Right.
And they have a problem with it. And the problem is Gene Deal brings in money for Tissa Tell, thousands of dollars a month.
She's right there.
Bring in money for Tissa Tells, thousands of dollars per month. Bring in money for a lot of YouTubers. So these YouTubers are solely invested in protecting their revenue and stuff, right? And their image and these reputations. These people on YouTube sit behind a desk, go live from their phone, and they think they're famous because they have big platforms. And I just don't think so. Because aren't you a big dog?
Of course.
I'm a big dog too.
But let's show these pictures.
Let's show these pictures. So this right here is Randy Pittman. He's in a picture with Benchworth. And everybody has been wondering when he was going to enter the arena and what he had to do with it. And this guy, Randy